The moment everything fell apart. Do you know what's the most devastating thing in life? That moment when your own people break you, when the very ones you trusted blindly stab you in the back. You gave up everything for them, but when you needed them the most, they were nowhere to be found. Betrayal, disappointment, and that silence that ate you alive. That was the moment you could have been destroyed, but you chose to survive. And today, this very pain is about to become your greatest strength. There comes a moment in life when everything shatters. The dreams you built, crushed. The people you trusted, gone. The world you thought was yours turned its back on you. You screamed for help, but no one listened. You begged for mercy, but they laughed at your pain. You reached out for a hand, but all you touched was emptiness. This was the moment life wanted you to break, to fall to your knees, to surrender, to accept defeat. And for a while, maybe you did. You sat in the dark, suffocated by your own thoughts. You questioned everything, your worth, your purpose, your existence. The world had won. It had beaten you, stripped you of everything, left you to rot. But what the world didn't know was that this was just the beginning. The world only sees the scars on the outside, but the real wounds, they bleed in silence. There were nights when sleep refused to come, when the weight of everything crushed your chest, making it impossible to breathe, when the whispers in your mind grew louder, telling you it was over. No one saw you break. No one heard you scream into the emptiness. No one knew how many times you stood at the edge, ready to let go. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. And slowly the pain wasn't just something you felt. It became who you were. You weren't living anymore, just existing. Drifting in a world that no longer felt real. A ghost of the person you used to be. They thought you were gone, that the fire in you had burned out, that you would never rise again. But what they didn't realize, the darkest nights create the deadliest warriors. There comes a moment when the pain stops breaking you and starts building you. One night, as you lay in the darkness, drowning in everything they did to you, something shifted. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't a thought. It was a roar deep inside you. Enough. Enough of feeling helpless, enough of waiting for someone to save you, enough of living like a prisoner in your own mind. They wanted you broken, they wanted you weak, but they forgot one thing. Pain doesn't destroy warriors, it creates them. At that moment, something inside you woke up, a fire that had been buried beneath betrayal, rejection, and loss, a fire that no one could put out anymore. You stood up, not because the pain was gone, but because you had finally realized the truth. You were never meant to stay down. Pain could have destroyed you. It could have left you bitter, broken, and lifeless. But instead, you made a choice. You didn't let the fire consume you. You became the fire. Every scar, a lesson. Every betrayal, a test. Every moment of suffering, a weapon sharpened in silence. While they laughed, thinking you were finished. While they celebrated your downfall. While they waited for you to beg, to crawl, to surrender. You disappeared. Not in weakness, but in rebirth. Not in defeat, but in reinvention. The old you died in that fire. And from the ashes, something new emerged. Unstoppable, unbreakable, unforgiving. They laughed when you fell. They mocked your pain. They thought you would never rise again. But now, look at their faces. The same people who once crushed you with their words, their betrayals, their indifference. Now they watch in silence. They don't laugh anymore. They don't mock anymore. Because they see it. The fire in your eyes. The power in your presence. The unstoppable force you have become. They wanted you weak because your strength terrifies them. They never expected you to rise. They never thought the broken version of you would transform into something they could never control. And now they fear you, not because you seek revenge, but because you don't need it. Your success, your resilience, your unstoppable transformation is the very thing that haunts them now. Revenge isn't about anger. It isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. They wanted you broken. They wanted you begging. They wanted you to drown in your pain, to lose yourself in the darkness. But you didn't. You rose. You conquered. You became everything they feared. And now they watch, silent, powerless, afraid. Not because you sought revenge, but because you never needed them to begin with. Your success burns them more than any words ever could. Your rise is the fire that scorches their egos. Your unstoppable power is the final nail in their coffin. So don't look back. Don't waste a second on those who once tried to destroy you. Let them drown in their regrets while you rule your destiny. Because the best revenge is never needing one. Look at yourself, not the person they tried to break, not the one who begged, who cried, who felt lost in the darkness. That version of you, dead. You have risen. You have rebuilt yourself from the ashes. And now you walk with the fire of a warrior, unshaken, unstoppable, untouchable. They can't define you. They can't break you, because you no longer live by their rules. You are no longer that broken person. You are something greater, a force that can't be controlled, a storm that can't be stopped, a legend in the making. Now go. Take everything they said you couldn't have. Become everything they feared you would be. And never look back. This is your time. On fire.